So let's take it back to July 16, 2024. Now, within this time period, I was getting more locked in and more deep with my prayer life because I knew at one point it kind of slacked off. So I dedicated myself to praying a certain amount of time and carrying it on from there on. This particular morning of July 16th, 2024, it was very interesting. Carried on in my prayer time as per usual. And as I'm just praying about the day and just things that the Lord wants me to do and just regards to some situations, I get snapped into a vision. And in this vision, I'm looking at a green field. And what I assumed at the time was tall grass. And it's being blown in the breeze and it looks peaceful. It's a peaceful scenery. However, I then see a black figure. And it's revealed to me in the spirit that this is Satan. It was just an instant knowing that this is him. And it was a very weird way how I seen him. I've never heard of this description before, nor have I even seen it anywhere. He was kind of like a black whisking shadow, which I've seen ever since I was a child. Demons present themselves that way, but he was like that, but also solid at the same time. I don't know how to really describe that. He also had armor on him, and it looked something like some type of insect, like a beetle or flyer or something of that nature. So he had this on him, and then I also noticed he had these big horns, but he was solid black. But also at the same time, he had different colors kind of flowing through him. And what it reminded me of is when you see oil spilled on the pavement and there's water mixed in and you can see kind of like a rainbow in the oil. They call it like an oil stiller and something like that. This is how he looked. And I'm watching him and he's threshing through this green field, what I assumed was grass. He's threshing through it and he's walking around and he's looking for something. Don't know what he was looking for. Then I see me in the vision and I'm about maybe anywhere from 15 to 20 feet away from him. But I'm stooped down and I turn to somebody. I don't know who it is. I didn't see. But I turn to somebody and I go like this, as to say, don't say anything, be quiet. And he's just walking around looking. And while all of this is happening, I hear the Lord in my spirit say, he comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And I'm continuing to watch this scene, and then I snap out of the vision. I found it very odd in the sense that it just randomly came to me. And when I get these dreams and visions or anything that God wants me to put out, I sit with it for a bit. I'm not hasty and quick to just present it to everybody because I need the interpretation. I need to know what's going on and I need instruction. So with this, I thought about it for a few days and just let the Lord minister to me on what was happening. So within that week, he also spoke to me and he said, 1 Peter, how the enemy prowls around like a lion looking to devour. So I was like, okay, there's something going on here. Then a few days after that, I'm still thinking about the vision and I'm wondering, why was I crouched down telling somebody to be quiet? Like, what did that part of the vision mean? The Lord reminds me of what the Messiah said back in Matthew 6 about praying. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. The Sunday of that week now, when I'm at church, my pastor is giving his lesson and he brings up what the Messiah said to Peter, how the enemy looks to sift him like wheat. And then that's when everything clicked to me. I started thinking, my mind was instantly brought back to the vision. I'm like, wait a minute. I assumed it was grass in that field, but is wheat ever green? So I go and look it up and I'm like, wow. So wheat starts off green and then I just didn't think of this. Didn't think of it. So In this vision, it was actually it was a wheat field that was green, and the devil was going through it, looking for somebody to devour, looking for believers to devour, Christians, those that are surrendered, committed to the Lord, looking for an opportunity, looking for a foothold. The part where I was crouched down, telling somebody to be silent, what the Lord revealed to me is in Matthew 6, with the instructions of prayer, is talking about believers being in that quiet place and being in your prayer closet, being in private, praying to the Father. So in that, putting it all together, this is the message that God had for me and also for the body of Christ, that there is something happening in the spirit realm. There is something that is even coming that we need to prepare for. What that thing is, I have no idea, but I know that it's been pressed on me to keep in the prayer closet, to keep consistent with prayer, to pray without ceasing. And in this vision, that's what the Lord was showing me, not only for me, but for everybody that is a believer in Christ. And if you're not surrendered, this is the time that you really need to take your relationship with Christ seriously, and you need to be surrendered, because the enemy is on the move. I don't know what is happening. I don't know what's going to happen. The Lord didn't reveal that to me. The simple instructions was that everybody needs to be on point and needs to be on guard in prayer. A lot of times we take for granted in North America just the freedoms we've been afforded. And one of the things recently I've been looking at is just how other Christians in other parts of the world, how they kind of conduct their walk. And we take it for granted over here because we think we're so busy with work and we're caught up in social media and what's going on with celebrities and all this other stuff that doesn't mean anything really. Meanwhile, you look at people in other countries and they're facing death for the faith. They're dying for the faith. There's people in other countries that are praying for hours, 3 hours, 8 hours, 16 hours. So they'll cut time out of their day to sit and pray. But a lot of us won't even do that. And I feel that with this vision, God is saying, not only, us in North America, but worldwide, because I'm sure there's people in those countries too that haven't really surrendered and dedicated themselves. But we need to really lock in now. So with this message, that's the main point that I want to present to you, is take your walk with Christ serious. Be surrendered to him. This is not just about praying about things that you want and things you desire. Pray for protection. Pray for the salvation of others. Pray for the areas that you're weak in, the areas that you struggle in. Pray for the Lord's guidance. Ask him his will for your life. Ask him the plan he has for your life. Ask him what he wants you to do. Truly make this a relationship where it's two ways, where it's not just you asking, but it's also you receiving instruction. And also make time and dedicate time to lock in with prayer. Have a meeting place with God. Have a meeting place in your timing where he knows, okay, 10 a.m., I can expect my son or daughter to come and sit with me, to come and talk with me. I think a lot of times we just look at God as just this authoritative figure that's distant from us because because he's not physically present like how you would have somebody next to you, but he is in spirit. That we just kind of treat him as someone we can just check in with here and there, instead of treating him as someone that actually has feelings, that is intelligent, all-knowing. We need to get to that place where we draw closer in our relationship and how we act towards God. Whatever it may be that's on your mind. So I'm not going to make this any much longer. But the main message here is prepare yourselves. And that preparation comes in prayer, and be led by the Lord as to what he's calling you to do or not to do. Till next time, shalom.